Hey guys, Tepco Cycle Repair. Today I'm doing a leak down test, and this is a 2004 CRF250X. So we're going to check out, show you what it should be reading. The only thing I've done so far is take the seat and tank off, and just got access to the spark plug hole right there. Now I want to show you something that's important. I have a Mac Tool compression gauge. It's a good quality compression gauge, and I'm using the hose from there. So if you look at this hose, okay, this is a 10 millimeter hose, all right, 10 millimeter threads. This one won't work on this bike, all right. You can see this is a Mac right here. It's good stuff. The problem is the spark plug. The spark plug hole has a collar. If you look at these spark plugs, they have a collar. See that collar right there? You need to get past that. There you go. You need to get past that collar to get to the threads, and that's where the problem lies. The Mac Tool, the threads are not long enough. All right, these threads are not long enough. They don't reach the threads. So what I'm going to be using is a connector here. So this is a connector, and that little bit extra right there, you see that probably about 2-3 threads right there. That's going to reach it. And this is just an attachment from a cheap compression tool from like Harbor Freight. I don't know, it's a General something. But it's crazy how you got to go with a cheaper fitting. Now the snap-on attachment works fine. It reaches down. The threads are about this long, so it works good. So even if you have a name brand one, it doesn't always work. Make sure you get one with the longest threads for 10 millimeter. All right, enough of that. Let's get this started. All right, so I'm going to be using this screwed onto the threads that are in here for 14 millimeter, so that'll work. Make sure you put this sucker on here tight so you don't get this stuck down in the spark plug hole. That'd be a whole nother problem. So make sure you get it on tight. Remember to remove your core when you're doing a leak down test. You need the core inside of here when it's a compression test. When it's a leak down test, you want it removed. Alright, so for my unit, I got to dial my pressure down to 60 coming in because the leak down tester takes 60 pounds going in. That's all you need for a test like this. And then on my gauge, this is the dial right here. It's a regulator adjuster. You just adjust this down to 0. Alright, so you know you're starting right there at 0. All right, you can look it up to the bike. Alright, so here's the tricky part. So I have it at top dead center, compression stroke. I'm going to go ahead and set the, this is a, 8 millimeter in there? Yeah, 8 millimeter. And I'm on that nut. I got it on. You can see the dot on there on the teeth, and it's lined up with that arrow. We're at top dead center, compression stroke. When I put the pressure on here, when I connect the line, it's going to want to sometimes turn the engine. If you're just a slight bit off of top dead center. So what I have here is a breaker bar just to hold it. It makes it easier to rotate it. I got it in between the brake pedal here and the foot peg. So, you know, if it tries to go down, it's going to hit this. If it tries to go up, it'll hit the foot peg. Then I can just grab it and kind of rotate a little bit. And you'll know if you're off because your leak down will be extreme. And, you know, we're trying to shoot for less than 10. You know, we're not really shooting for anything. We're just testing, and that's what we hope it'll be, I should say. So let me hook it up, and we'll see. All right, I can hear oil bubbling right now, and I'm at 15%. All coming through the rings. I don't hear anything. A little bit on the intake. Nothing on the exhaust. But let me show you what we got over here. Alright, we got all that bubbling down there. So all that air pressure, that 15% of pressure is going past the rings. Oh, you can hear that. Up in here, barely anything. This filter wasn't on all the way when I got the bike, so most likely it was sucking some dirty air, probably damaging some of the valves there. But that's very, very little coming out of here. That's the problem. So now you got to decide, is something you're going to fix. That's where we're at. What I mean by that, is the bike running like crap? Is it hard to start? You have any issues? Sometimes a combination, if you have a little bit coming out of your intake, a little bit out of your exhaust, you got some coming out of your rings, combined amount at 15, you know, you may be able to live with, depending on how the bike's acting. But you're going to have a loss of power. It's not going to be at its maximum. So on this bike right here, I'll probably pull a top end and do some rings on it and freshen that up. I always like the leak down to be way below that. I like to be somewhere, 8 or 10 is where I'm starting to find out what's going on, and I'll fix it. But this right here being at 15, yeah, I might have to put some rings in there. Right, guys, that's all there is to it right there. Just a leak down test, and you should do these on all your bikes when you get them. Give you an idea of how much money you got to put into it. It'd be ideal for me if I was buying a used bike, if I can get the bike in the shop first and do a leak down test on it, but most people are not going to let you do that. It's kind of a gamble you got to take, see how it runs. This is going to need a set of rings, probably a piston, top end gasket set, clean the valves up, little things. It's probably a few $100 worth of repair just to get this down to where it should be and the bike gets full power. So, these are good, but these are the tests. This is like a health test. I call it a health test. When I get a bike, I want to do a health test. I want to see how the bike is, what it's doing. Am I going to put work into it right away, what it needs? And you can't just guess on that stuff, right? You got to have tests. I'm big about diagnosing problems and issues and seeing what's going on, not just guessing. So especially if you have a bike that's not running right, it has problems, this is one of the first things I'll do is throw it on here and see. Because if you got low compression, and these have an automatic compression release on them that you can't control, so you can't do a compression test. This is the only way to do it. Leak down testing is the way to go in a 4-stroke, guys. Hopefully this helps you out. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for further notifications. Until next time, this is Tepco Cycle Repair.